Welcome back to the deep dive. So we're pushing on with Dante and Virgil, continuing that climb through Purgatory.
Yep, onwards and upwards.
We've been looking at how these old stories still pack a punch for us today, right? Last time, we were on the second terrace.
That's right, with the envious.
Yeah, watching them learn to, let go of wanting what others have and instead see the value in, like, spiritual connection, shared stuff.
It was a big theme, shifting from that feeling of not enough materially to more than enough spiritually. A really important idea.
Definitely. So today, we're jumping into the 15th canto. And again, the idea isn't just, literary chat. We're digging for things that might help us navigate our own journeys.
Absolutely. Canto 15 marks another key transition.
Okay, so what's the setup? Where are we now?
Well, they're moving up. Dante and Virgil are ascending to the third terrace. This is where the sin of wrath gets dealt with.
Wrath. Okay. And right away, something happens to Dante, doesn't it? A sign he's making progress.
Exactly. The angel of mercy shows up and removes the second P from Dante's forehead.
The P for peccatum, sin. So envy is wiped away. That's such a clear image, like literally lifting a weight.
It is. It really resonates, I think, with those times maybe you felt you've properly let go of something negative, that feeling of release.
Yeah, a bit lighter, ready for the next thing. But then things get pretty intense, sensorially speaking.
Oh, very intense. Dante's suddenly hit by this incredibly bright light. Brighter than the sun, he says.
Wow. And Virgil explains what's happening.
Yeah, Virgil points out it's another angel approaching. And it's interesting, this theme of light keeps popping up whenever there's spiritual progress. We even see echoes of this later, way later in Paradise.
Right. Light equals understanding, or grace, maybe.
Something like that. And as this shining figure leads them to the next stairway, they hear a beatitude.
Ah, yes. Blessed are the merciful, and also rejoice thou that conquerest.
It's like a confirmation, isn't it? You've shown mercy, or you've overcome envy, perhaps, and now you get this divine, encouragement.
That connection mercy leading to inner victory, that's something to chew on for sure.
It is. But interestingly, when they arrive on this terrace for wrath, they don't immediately see souls suffering. Instead, Dante gets these visions inside his head.
Visions, like daydreams.
Divinely sent, the text implies. And they're all examples of the virtue that counters wrath, which is meekness.
Meekness. Okay, so what are the visions?
And the first one is pretty grounded. It's Mary finding young Jesus in the temple after he went missing.
Oh, I remember that. She must have been frantic, but the exchange is quite gentle in the end, isn't it?
Exactly. Potential for anger, frustration, but it resolves with understanding, a family example.
Okay, so starting personal, what's next?
Then it shifts. The second vision is Pisistratus, who was a ruler in Athens.
Right.
And he responds with amazing calm when some guy publicly kisses his daughter. He forgives the man, refuses calls for harsh punishment.
So that moves it out into the public square, into leadership, when you actually have the power to retaliate.
Precisely. From the personal to the civic. And the third vision takes it even further.
Let me guess. Saint Stephen?
You got it. Saint Stephen, while he's being stoned to death.
Wow.
He's praying for his killers, asking God to forgive them.
That's the ultimate example of meekness, isn't it? Forgiveness in the face of lethal violence.
It really is. So you see the progression, family, society, and then this profound spiritual act. It shows how meekness applies everywhere.
It's like Dante's getting a crash course before he has to face the reality of wrath itself.
That seems to be the idea, preparing him, but just as he's processing these peaceful examples, bam, something totally different happens.
Right, the atmosphere changes completely.
Suddenly, they're plunged into this thick, choking smoke. It's acrid, stings the eyes, can't see a thing.
Sounds awful. And symbolic, I assume.
Absolutely. It is the purging of wrath, that blinding, suffocating anger made manifest. It's a really visceral image.
It shows that growth isn't always, angels and light. Sometimes you have to walk through the smoke, the tough stuff.
Exactly. It's uncomfortable, disorienting, but necessary for purification. That contrast between the light before and the smoke now is quite stark.
And you mentioned that light links to paradise.
Yeah, the intensity of the light here echoes the light Dante encounters when he first enters paradise. It reinforces that sense of ascent, of moving towards greater spiritual heights, even if the path involves trials like this smoke.
Okay, and Virgil brings up something else here, building on an idea from the last canto about goods.
Yes. He revisits that point about material versus spiritual goods. Remember Guido del Duca talking about envy and possessions?
Vaguely, yeah. Material things get smaller when you share them.
Right. If you share your money, you have less. But spiritual goods, love, kindness, knowledge, charity, They increase when shared.
How's that work?
Virgil uses the analogy of light and mirrors. The more mirrors you have reflecting light, the brighter the whole space becomes. Sharing love doesn't deplete your love, it actually creates more love in the world, and you benefit from that reflected goodness.
Okay. That makes sense. So the lesson for us is about where we invest our energy.
Pretty much. Investing in relationships and inner qualities
Yeah.
that yields expanding returns, unlike just hoarding stuff.
And the visions of meekness, revisiting those, they show this isn't just about being passive, right?
Not at all. It's an active choice. Responding with understanding, forgiveness, restraint, whether it's a family squabble, a public insult, or, it's something far more serious. It's about strength, not weakness.
So thinking about our own lives, what are the big takeaways from Canto 15?
Well, first, definitely that point about material versus spiritual wealth makes you reflect on your own values, what you're chasing.
Okay, what else?
Second, the sheer power of forgiveness. St. Stephen is extreme, but it shows the strength in letting go of anger, even when you feel justified. True strength.
Right. It's easy to be angry, harder to forgive.
Then there's the reality of the journey itself. You'll have moments of clarity, the light, and periods of struggle, the smoke. Both are part of growth. You can't have one without the other, really.
And managing anger specifically. It's not about never feeling it, maybe, but about transforming it.
Exactly. Transforming that heat into something constructive, or at least not destructive. Understanding instead of fury. Meekness as a tool for that.
So, summing up this deep dive, we've got forgiveness, the nature of true wealth, the ups and downs of inner transformation, managing anger, and the impact of positive examples. Lots to think about.
Indeed. It's a rich canto.
Okay, so to leave everyone with something to mull over. Building on that idea of navigating challenges, consider the smoke in your own life's journey. What difficult trials, what periods of confusion or struggle might actually be paving the way for greater clarity, for purification down the line?
That's a good question to sit with.
Thank you for joining us for this, our 49th Deep Dive. It's been great exploring this with you.
Likewise.
We hope you'll join us next time as we continue our journey deeper into Dante's Purgatorio. See you then.